Thank you very much, Honourable Minister Trivlin, and of course to the UK for hosting COP26 and for the very insightful discussion we've had this morning. It's really an honour to join all of you in this very important event on gender equality and climate action. And it's been very inspiring to hear new examples of how to enable gender equality in the climate action. And I think all of us are here today to send a message that, as you just mentioned, time for gender responsiveness implementation is now. We are here at a critical historical moment, and there's urgent need to build momentum within our global community to amplify the voices of women and girls who are at the heart of climate impact. We've heard from all our panelists and discussants today that climate action is not gender neutral, it's not gender blind, and there is a disproportionate impact on women. And here let me underscore some of the points that were highlighted. First, empowerment of women is an important ingredient in building climate resilience. There is strong and mounting evidence at the country level that improving gender equality contributes to policy choices that lead to better environmental governance, whether through increased representation and voice of women within their communities, in society at large, and as we heard from many at a political level, and through increased labour participation. Second, low emissions development pathways can be more effective and more equitable where they are designed using gender-informed approaches. Billions of women around the world make decisions every day that influence the amount of carbon that is released into the atmosphere. Therefore, strengthening women's political representation and leadership roles within the wider society is likely to contribute to the goals we all want to achieve from COP26. Third, the mainstreaming of gender-sensitive approaches is starting to happen across the range of climate actions, but much more needs to be done. And I think this is the call for action for all of us, all stakeholders who have been here today. Gender mainstreaming is urgently needed, both in dedicated climate finance and in approaches to climate-smart official development assistance. We heard from UN Women that ODA for that particular goal is quite small, only 3%, and we need to all work together to push that forward. There are 4 areas that have been identified as critical building blocks in response to climate change: mitigation, adaptation, technology transfer, and financing. On mitigation and adaptation, efforts should systematically and effectively address gender-specific impacts of climate change in the areas of food security, agriculture, fisheries, biodiversity, water, health, peace, and security. And we saw firsthand some of the examples from countries around the world where women have been affected. On financing, mechanisms must be flexible enough to reflect women's priorities and needs. Gender analysis of all budget lines and financial instruments for climate change are needed to ensure gender-sensitive investments and programs for adaptation mitigation, technology transfer, and capacity building. Technological developments related to climate change should take into account women's specific priorities, needs, and roles, and make full use of their knowledge and expertise. In addition, women should also have equal access to training, credit, skills development programs to ensure their full participation in climate change initiatives. And we're very happy for the actors of change here and also the impact investment for women, which I think will make a huge difference. Against the above background, governments should incorporate gender perspectives into their national policies, and we've seen very important examples today as well, and other measures on sustainable development and climate change through carrying out systematic gender analysis and establishing gender-sensitive benchmarks and indicators, and developing practical tools to support increased attention to gender perspectives. The rich discussions we witnessed today by ministers, civil society, business leaders, and activists give us hope. Give us hope through showing the progress towards commitments and policy solutions to achieve the 5-year Gender Action Plan. You all made it clear for us that this is just the beginning of many necessary steps that are needed to strengthen commitments on this agenda in the run-up to COP27. Additionally, strengthen support for developing countries to address gender-related action under Convention to address gender-related action under the Convention and the Paris Agreement, including in relation to the UNFCCC Gender Action Plan, must be a priority, where all stakeholders have been represented today and made this call. In this regard, I will take a minute to highlight Egypt's recent launch of its National Climate Change Strategy 2050 that took place last week here in Glasgow. The strategy is an integrated and comprehensive document that focuses on the social and economic aspects of climate action. It will enable Egypt to plan and manage climate change on different levels while driving the achievement of the SDG agenda and Egypt's Vision 2030. It also addresses gender considerations and mainstreaming, acknowledging that women and girls are disproportionately impacted by climate change, and builds on lessons learned through the implementation of the National Strategy for Gender Mainstreaming and Climate Change in Egypt that was launched in 2011. The national strategy recognizes the diverse roles, needs, and contributions of women, puts at the forefront of national development plans the role of women, and sets out to transform social norms, institutional structures, and national capacity by recognizing inclusion and gender equality as key components of sustainable development. Finally, I would like to thank you all for the valuable contributions. I look forward to welcoming you in the world's green city of Sharm el-Sheikh, the city of peace, in COP27, where we will all speak one voice for all of humanity for a dedicated climate action. But between now and then, we will all act on the gap. Thank you very much.